Hello, thank you for joining me. We are still looking at JavaScript, and today we are looking at how we can place a JavaScript within HTML file, and also learn how we can be able to have JavaScript in a different file, then use the functions in that JavaScript file in our HTML file. So in this regard, we are going to have JavaScript as an external file, but then we call a function from that external file and use it in our HTML file to do certain functions that we would want to do. So as we've learned in our previous encounters or lessons, we normally begin a JavaScript code using the word script, and there are some specific we call them attributes that normally the JavaScript definition or JavaScript tag normally takes. So the first one is normally the language. So we have the language. The first attribute is language, and language is JavaScript. Now the other attribute is type. So type is normally text, text stroke JavaScript, text stroke JavaScript. Okay, then the other attribute that we must also include is the source. SRC. Where are we getting this file from? So the file is called my file, and we are going to create it in just a bit. So it must end with the extension .js. Now we've been able to define the calling code that is going to be able to load the JavaScript file or call the JavaScript file from the location we are going to create it. It's also important to take note that anytime you're working with HTML and JavaScript, both your HTML and JavaScript file should be in the same directory, so that it is easy for the interpreter or the browser to be able to reach out and fetch the file as needed from the folder. So or the directory, from the folder or the directory. So I'm going to create a function I'm going to create a file known as my files.js. So I'm going to create it inside the same folder as this one. So I'm going to get the file, the new file. I'm going to create it here. I'm just going to click new file, and now name my file just the same way it is with in my HTML. So the same way it has been labeled within the enclosement or within the quotation marks of the source attribute, the same way I'm going to name it here. So I'm going to call it my files dot JS. So that is the file. So this is my files.js, and this is also my file.js. So the name should tally across, that is in the JS file and the HTML file. The names must tally, as you can see. So I'm going to straight away into my JS file, and I'll create a function. Now functions in JS must start with the keyword function, then followed by the name of the function. So let's call it my function. That's the name of my function. Then you must do the you must have a provision there for passing the parameters if they are available. So I've been able to define a function. So I'm going to have alert message or alert function within this function, and I'm going to have it created in this manner. So my alert function is going to display this name, hello, thank you. So that is the word I want to be displayed on the screen when this function is called, right? So how do I call that function within my HTML file? So I'm going to write it exactly where I want it to be. So to have it there, I'm going to have an input. Already have input type kind input or a button, which is a kind of input object within HTML. So I want, when this button is clicked, this alert message is displayed. So having done that, I have to save, then come back here. So I have a button here called I've not given it name, but this button, I want it in such a way when somebody clicks on it, it is able to see some message on the screen. So whatever this attribute value is written C, so on the client side, the person using this web page will be able to see the word C. So when he clicks on the word C, he will be able to see the message. So on this attribute, on click attribute, I'm going to write the name of my function. So the name of my function was my function. So I'm going to have it there, so that when this my function, right, so it should be as such, this name should be the same name I have right here. Yeah, it should be the same name that should go there. So it must be a function. So I have to save that. Now when I run this or when I go live and click go live here, I'll be able to see the work of my hands on a browser, how it looks like. So the main thing is to see how this is going to span out. So currently my script is now visible on the browser. So you see the button is called C as shown on the client side. So when I click C, a message should be displayed. So this is what it say: hello, thank you. So that's how you can work, or you can create a JavaScript file, and place it as a separate file or as an external file from the main HTML document. So in our next episode, we are going to look at how we can work with variables. Thank you.